This is a fan project. All material used are properties of their respective owners. I claim no ownership. Please do like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you and enjoy the video. Hi everyone, Peter Asterisk here. So, Gozyuger has been going on for quite a while now. And by the recording of this video, I have watched up till episode 16 subbed. This show is quite an interesting beast. So, continuing on from what they have shown during the press con, this video will be my thoughts and probably reactions so far to the current Sentai that's airing, #1 Sentai Gozyuger. So, let's get into it, shall we? So, #1 Sentai Gozyuger is, again, the 50th series of the long-running Super Sentai franchise, as it was revealed in the press con. Toshiki Inoue's daughter, Akiko Inoue, is the head writer of this show. And I must say, so far, honestly, I am liking what I'm seeing. Like, this show is weird. This show is fun. This show is a blast to watch. Like, weird, like, this is in no way weird. This show is quite character focused. So far. And there's a lot of Monster of the Week. The monsters are very Monster of the Week, and the story is the theme so far is very character focused. And so far, the apple does not fall far from the tree. Yeah, like the first 2 episodes were fun. They were interesting episodes. But then episode 3 happened. And ooh boy. Akiko Inoue, I was unfamiliar with her game. Until that episode. Like, I understand what you're going for now. I see that you are cooking something here. I see you're cooking. And I like what I'm seeing. I can smell what you're cooking. This show, this show, has the potential to be, well, peak. This show has potential. And she's definitely her dad's daughter, all right. Yeah, I can see the influences. Definitely. Moving on. Let's talk about the music first. Notably the opening and endings. Well, almost lack thereof ending. The opening for the show is titled Winner Gozyuger by the Wieners. And it's a dance opening. Music itself, I like it. It's catchy. I don't really mind the dance nature of it, as long as it's done well. But to be honest, I actually like the ending music of it more. Like, there's no ending visuals. Like, it's more so like Don Bros, where the ending segues into the preview. And the ending music is definitely gonna butcher this. BB Leaving by Miyu Kaneko. It really vibes with my ear. I like it more than the opening. It doesn't have the visual still, but yeah. But it just vibes more with how everything ends, like how each episode ends. Now, y'all might wonder why I'm saying there's a lot of Inoue or Don Bros. There's a lot of Don Bro-ish things going on, because Yes, there's a lot of Donbro elements in this show. And there's a lot of Donbro's comparison in this show so far. So, for example, like team composition, the Donbros were basically all misfits and people who have trouble connecting with each other even. Like, they should not be a team. Concept-wise, they couldn't mix well as a team. For the Gozyugers, they're outcast. We got a lone wolf, which kind of is a tsundere, I think. I think he's a tsundere. Yeah, he's actually a good guy. We got a fallen idol. We got a religious nut. A former fired cop, a police officer, and someone going through a midlife. Wait, hold on. No, nay. An end-life crisis, which I'll get to later during the character portions of this video. Yeah, okay? Because that character is a standout. And their relationships with the villain factions too, the Brydens, has that Donbros elements. The misunderstandings, the secrets, the rivalries, all the drama setups. This all feels very Inoue, like his dad, Toshiki Inoue, and it's very Donbros, which is not a bad thing. Donbros is chaos in the best way. So, moving on to the story. There is this universe war that involve various Sentai teams and their mechs that are fighting against a threat simply known, like they refer it to as the Calamity. So then a being or a deity called Tegasord appeared and offered his powers to the Sentai, creating the gimmick of the show, the Sentai rings. He destroyed the Calamity, but also provoked the destruction and the creation of the universe, with the rings, the Sentai rings, scattered across the world. Now, so this is the TLDR of everything. There's 5 outcasts are chosen by Tegasord to transform into the Gozyuger, and is given a chance to change. Essentially, they collect their rings, and you get a wish granted to change their lives by gathering all the rings. And the one who assembles them all will get their wish granted. So it's not a team effort. This starts a competition, essentially. Not only between the group, but against the villain factions too, the No.1 World Brydens, as well as people who have been chosen who's also chosen by not Tegasord, but the Sentai rings, to get their wish granted and transform into previous Sentai warriors, but only the Reds, and are called the Universe Warrior. So this Universe Warrior is basically the Sentai equivalent to AR Riders, or Common Riders, in decade terms. Now, these Universe Warriors are the show's way of cameoing past Toku actors, like some Universe Warriors are those. For example, like starting from episode 1 and continuing on to episode 2, we already got a past Sentai actor cameo in Haruhi Iuchi. I'm sorry if I'm butchering his name. Taya's actor, Boone Red. He returns as a Sentai, but not as Boone Red. He transforms into Kuwagata Oger. Yeah. He transforms into a King Oger. Red Kuwagata Oger. And in episode 3, we kind of got meta. Like, it's pretty meta with the debut of Universe Warrior Don Momotaro. Now, the meta of this thing was that a lot of people, myself included, after episode 1 and theorizing who would play the other past Reds, the Universe Warriors, an idea kind of popped up. Like, I agree with this idea. Wouldn't it be hilarious if Taro's boyfriend, let's face it, yeah, Taro's boyfriend, Momotaro, transforms into Don Momotaro in the show? That would be fucking hilarious. Now the thing is, that actually happened, but with a hilarious twist. Now when Don Momotaro shows up, Universe Warrior Don Momotaro shows up in episode 3, and he's the Japanese prime minister. Like, the character is the Japanese prime minister, and is played by Taro's boyfriend. But not Momotaro. No, it's not Momotaro's boyfriend. It's annoying. No, it's not. It's actually Ultraman's Taro boyfriend instead. Tragear. Yes. Tragear is Don Momotaro here. That's the meta of it. That's fucking hilarious. Like, I think they listened, but they twisted some way. Like, okay, we'll bring Taro's boyfriend, but not the Taro you think. It's genius. It's kind of genius if you think about it. It's just hilarious. And he basically just acts like Traeger at the end. And in episode 11, Yuichi Nakamura, Yuto Sakurai, shows up. Kamen Rider Zeronos. He transformed into Gao Red, and he's in it for like a 2-parter. And then we got Red Racer in episode 13. We got Red Racer, and the identity of her. So Red Racer in here is a female. Is Yoko from Ultraman Z. She's fighting for traffic safety and the safety of her young master. She's is Ryugi Bakugami, Koji Tirano's family maid. And in episode 13 is also the first time we kind of get a post. Like, this show has, like, they did something I didn't thought I needed, which is a post-show upgrade for Red Racer. She kind of gets an upgrade in the form of Buso Red Racer, also known as We Have Champion Boom Boonger at Home. Because let's face it, that actually is Champion Boom Boonger at Home. She got overwhelmed by huge surge of emotion and essentially made her Sentai ring go berserk. Something that never happened before. Like, Tegasort even mentioned that. The lady went from fighting for traffic safety into saying, fuck traffic safety. And the form itself is pretty meta in itself. Like, Red Racer turns into a Busuzoku delinquent, like a Japanese Bosozoku delinquent, and is a nod to the Space Bosozoku Bozok, who are the villains of Car Ranger. They're essentially a space delinquent. This show's theme, aside from the rings, is of course competition. Most importantly, fighting game competitions. A recurring thing that happens in the episodes is when a monster of the week or another universe warrior are about to square off with the Gozyuger or the monsters, is that they go through a ring fight intro, where each side kind of declares themselves to each other before their fight. Like, In this corner, we got Goju Wolf. In this corner, we got someone else. It's like that. This show also like caught the attention of the FGC community, strangely. Yeah, and from episode 1, like the way they end the fights in episode 1, Goju Wolf straight up executes a fucking super cancel. And then from then on, like from episodes 2, 3, 4, I think, they have been doing combo multipliers. Like he legit, like if you saw the clip, if you know at least a modicum of fighting games, you know what a fucking super cancel is. Goju Wolf actually did a fucking super cancel. I think even Harada, I think Harada even reacted to it. Or some other fighting FGC, like fighting game big heads. Moving on to the Tegazord. So far, there's 2 types of Tegazord. There's the one that the Gozyuger use, which is a gold-colored one, and the Universe Warrior use, which are silver-colored. The gold Tegazord can transform into their mech. Not mechs. Turns out, I was wrong. I was gravely mistaken during the press conference. I honestly thought that the Gozyuger were getting like 5 individual mechs for each Rangers. But in actuality, it's only one mech, one Tegazord mech, with 5 modes. Each being able, they can swap out modes depending who the pilot is. Now, speaking of piloting the mech, this show actually does something quite interesting, and I do like what they're doing with this. Because the Gozyuger actually pilots the mech out of suit, not in suit. Well, actually, to be precise, like instead of piloting them in their Ranger gear, in their Ranger suits, their civilian form, you can see the actors piloting the mechs, but they're granted a sort of ceremonial regalia, a pilot suit that looks more like a regalia, like a regal pilot suit when they're piloting the mech, but no helmets, so it's actually the actors piloting the mech. When Sentai does that, it's usually like during the finale, like Jetman or sometimes Hurricaneer. They usually do that near the end, but they're doing this every time a mech fight happens, which is a nice breath of fresh air to see. Let the actors do their thing. Now, on to the rings. Both Sentai rings and Gozyuger rings give the individuals they are chosen by it a specific ability. Like for the Gozyugers, for example, Goju Wolf gets like out of suit power. These are out of suit powers. Goju Wolf gets an enhanced sense of smell. Like they call it #1 smell, and the #1 other shit. Okay. Goju Leon gets enhanced hearing. Gozu Tyranno gets essentially super strength, which he uses quite liberally. Goju Eagle has enhanced vision, like legit eyes of the hawk of an eagle. And Goju Unicorn, strangely, most of all of them are connected to like the human sense. Goju Unicorn actually gains the ability to read people's minds by touching them. Though, her ability does not work on people who are ring users, like the Gozyugers or other Universe Warriors. But it works on Brydens because they aren't chosen by the rings. They just want the rings. They can't use the rings' power. We haven't seen, other than that, what the limitation of the powers are. Now, the Universe Warrior also get these types of abilities. Like Don Momotaro can summon origami warriors that are shaped like the animals from the Momotaro folklore. Tyrannoranger gets the abilities to regain or resurrect. Yeah. So basically, he can resurrect the Daisujin to help him fight. And he's the first Sentai Universe Warrior to actually use his mech to fight. Other than that is Gao Ranger, I think. Yeah, Gao Ranger. And then Gao Red has the ability to it's called like what? One Beast, One Song, which is essentially he can tame any type of beast with a specific instrument. Like using a flute, he can tame and control a dog. With a guitar, he can control a horse for like that. Yeah. And yeah, that causes problems for the Gozyuger. Like he turned Horeru into a legit dog, into a puppy. Acts like a dog. Yeah, that was hilarious as shit. And then Red Racer has the ability to stop by blowing her whistle. Traffic safety whistle. She legit can stop anyone dead in their tracks. Moving on to the characters, starting with the Gozyugers themselves. First off, Goju Wolf, Tono Hoeru, played by Buno Mio. He's broke. He's the lone wolf, but honestly, I just think he's more like a stray dog. And he's actually not a dick. I honestly thought that based on the description from the press con, he was going to be like a huge dick to people. And his teammates, like akin to Don Momotaro. Which is, he's just a legit dick to everyone. Except Sonoe. He loves his boyfriend. But in actuality, he's just like abrasive and unapproachable due to trauma. He just wants a place to belong and to be loved. It's just that he thinks he doesn't deserve it. Because his backstory is kind of heavy. Yeah. So basically, he and his brother, I'll get to him, accidentally stumbled upon the Briden's homeworld, along with a few other people. They got scattered, and they were essentially, they got stuck there for quite a while. And then Hoeru got separated from his brother. He was then looked after by a woman who also got stuck there. But don't know why the woman disappeared, like vanished from existence not long after, and Hoeru got stuck there alone for quite a while. Because when he finally came back to his home now, as an adult, as present, like, age Hoeru, he saw that his parents has moved on and adopted 2 children. We never see if Hoeru confronts them or not about this. Like, that moment changed him as a person, turning him into, like, this guy we know today. Him being the legit. I did say the Gozyugers are chosen by Tegusort, but it feels like he's specifically chosen. Like he's the special one. And him becoming a Gozyuger gave him a sense of purpose and actual direction that he really needed. And he's the only one out of the Gozyugers who, when chosen, he actually doesn't have a wish that he wants to grant. Instead, he wants to find out what he wants in life by being a Gozyuger. His resolve as a Gozyuger comes to a crossroads when he reunites with his older brother, Isamitsu Tono. Tono Hisamitsu. Now going by Kuon. Again, I'll get to that motherfucker later. Who manipulates and fucking gaslights him to join his side. Like, he legit gaslights Horiru, claiming that he doesn't need a wish or a purpose. Like, he legit says that. And now all he needs is to be his attack dog. You're my dog. You're my brother, but you're my dog. Here's food, and I'll point to anyone who I need you to sick. Like this fucks with Horiru. Clearly. And it kind of sends him into a like berserker rampage during a fight that makes him fight the Gozyugers and one of the Brighton's general, Fire Candle, which actually ends with Horiru quitting the team. After this, he's basically in a funk, like a huge funk. That is until his self-proclaimed rival, Fire Candle, actually, unknowingly breaks him out of that funk. Like, that scene was pretty amazing. Like, if you can watch that scene again, the inspiration speech that Fire Candle gave to Horiru, I think not knowing at that time Horiru was Goju Wolf, pretty much reignited his flame. Like, it reignited Horiru's flame, and he finally has the power and will to stand up against his brother. And also gets his own personal weapons, because before this, only Goju Wolf doesn't have his own personal weapon that can also combine with the Tegazord mech. He now gets the what's it again? Wolf Decaliber Go, or it says 50, but they refer it as Go. Finally, to kick some ass with, and he kind of uses it at like a black hole generator. Like, he cuts a black hole, a warp hole, into the space. He can warp into those holes, teleport, like short teleportation. It was cool as fuck. Also, it kind of looks like a red version of Byaku Shinken. Or for Western audiences, Saba, White Ranger's sword. It kind of looks like that. It also gives him an upgraded mech form in the form of Tegazord Decaclaw. And while it's cool, like, it gets an upgrade and all for him, aside from the pretty nice head attachment, it kind of looks like he's wearing a wolf pelt. Like, he skinned a wolf and puts it on as a hood. Other than that, it's just an arm attachment. It's I actually like the base Tegazord more than this. If you can keep the base Tegazord but put the head on just that, it's more fun for me. Next up is Goju Leon, Rikuo Byakuya, played by Hideharu Suzuki. Is a very confident and suave person. He's a smooth operator. Rikuo is a former, which he claimed, super idol that was kicked out of his agency due to an incident, or I don't know, scandal or incident. Yeah, they never revealed what it was, what the scandal was, and he becomes a Gozyuger in order to regain his job again as a super idol. So despite losing his status and job as an idol, the man still has a lot of fans from all forms of genders and age demographic, which he calls his Rikuonist. Yeah, I think that's what he calls it, what the sub calls it. He's so charismatic that he's able to charm and swoon any gender, which makes him great at manipulating people, which was in full display in episode 2. I don't know if Toei was taking a jab at a certain actor or actors, but that was the vibe I'm getting from it. Yeah. So in episode 2, they had to compete with a monster who claimed that he was the #1 treasure hunter. Hoyaru, Rikuo, and Ryugi had to compete with it and each other. Basically, to find items which has the most value. Ryugi found a buried treasure. Hoyaru has no idea. Rikuo, on the other hand, resort to essentially scamming an elder couple who are his fans. He faked being sick and borrowed their prized possession, which is kind of an antique Ming vase. Well, thank God he did return it, even though he did sign the vase with his signature, knowingly or unknowingly devaluing that vase. Because if he didn't return it, that would have been too close to home. To real life, yeah. Rikuo also has a hilarious rivalry with another bride in general, Bouquet. The thing is, Bouquet is smitten, legit smitten, at first sight, and immediately became a hardcore Rikuonist. Even so far as making a Rikuo shrine at their base and inside her mech cockpit. Now, the hilarious Inoue twist of it, yes, it is a very Inoue twist thing, is that she doesn't know Rikuo is Goju Leon. The thing is, he hates Goju Leon with the burning passion of 1,000 suns. Due to him, during their mech fight, Goju Leon damages her cockpit and essentially damaging her Rikuo merch. And for some reason also, Rikuo doesn't know that Bouquet is part of Brighton. And then, they're also going on for till the end of Arc 1. They kind of tease like, I know it's probably just Rikuo flirting, but damn, they are like spreading the seeds of romance for both of them, like heavily. Yeah. Moving on to Goju Hirano, Bakugami Ryugi, played by Masakazu Kanda. Blessed be. This man is a religious nut. Heir to the Bakugami family, a prestigious family of doctors or surgeons, I think. Ryugi was essentially groomed from birth to take over the family business. However, it made him feel that his family never see him as an actual son. Instead, more as he claimed is like a doll, just to continue on the family name. He never felt loved by his parents, and they are only just pushing their expectations on him, which is relatable to some people. Yeah, that's definitely relatable. The kid just wants to be loved and be treated like a kid, have a childhood, have some fun. He basically found religion or God in Tegasword. He was moved by the book he read about him and decides to run away from home. Since then, he's pretty much become a monk who is deeply devoted to Tegasword. In his own words, Tegasword essentially gives him strength. He gives him purpose. He actually got like immense joy in episode 13 or 14 when Tegasword actually referred to him by name, like my son, Ryugi Bakugami. He felt so much joy from that moment. He got acknowledgement from God, essentially. And even though he was on the run from his family, he still has quite a lot of money. I think at the start, maybe. Like, he bought the half-century cafe from Hoyoru's landlady and turned it into a Tegasword gimmick cafe, which is also the team's base, called the Tegasword Village, which he also now runs. And Ryugi is essentially the mom of the group. Like, really, he's the mom of the group. This man can cook. This man can clean. This man can keep Hoiru and the others, yes, all of them, in check with his super strength. Like, they will still steer clear when they piss off Ryugi. Like, essentially, Hoiru is not the kid, is actually more of a dog to them. Like, I think it was Sumino or Kinji who referred, "You're our dog. You're not our friend. You're a dog. You're a puppy. You're our pet." Well, endearingly, it's still wrong, but still. But moving on to from Kinjiro, talking about Kinjiro, let's move on to Goju Eagle. Takehara Kinjiro, played by Matsumoto Jin. This character misled me in the best way possible. Like, legitimately, in the best way possible. This character made me go, "Forgive me, Akiko Inoue. I was unfamiliar with your game." This is the character that I was talking about. This man's true nature is such a curveball. I did not expect where they were going with this man. The press conference described him as a serious high schooler, who wants to be more sociable and wants to be part of what he might say the party people, and is also estranged from his family. That was a translation. Which, to the press con's credit, isn't actually wrong. It's just very lacking in context. Like, very. So, Takehara Kinjiro's real name is Takehara Joji, and is in actuality an 87-year-old fucking senior citizen. This man is a grandpa going through a midlife crisis. Well, to be more specific, an end-life crisis, which is why I said before, I don't care what it means, but it's more of an end-life crisis, because let's face it, he's a grandpa. He lived his life very strict. He's strict to others, he's strict to himself, so he dislikes those who kind of live like freely or selfishly. However, after his wife passes away, she wished for him to basically live for himself now. Don't live for others. Don't be such a prune, essentially. So Joji starts to have a change of heart. He found the Goju Eagle ring while tending his bonsai trees, and was chosen by Tegasword. His wish is for him to have a second chance at life, basically. Now, to have a more fulfilling life, to have a more freeing life, just like his wife wants. Tegasword grants it, but kind of halfway. So he gives him the ability to turn into his younger teenage self. But it's not permanent. He needs to consume a daily doses of eggs, or any food that contain eggs, which is usually the cafe's omurice, to maintain his youth, which will be permanent if he gets all of the rings, which he will get granted fully. Kinjiro is probably the most comedic of the bunch. Really, like no shit, he is. He just has this, like, you know, that Steve Buscemi meme, like that energy, like the Steve Buscemi meme where he's in high school, and he says, "How do you do, fellow kids?" While carrying a skateboard and a hoodie. He's such an old soul. He doesn't fully understand like today's technology, culture, lingo for most of the time. Like in one episode, he dueled a monster to a dance-off, and he brought a boombox, like a modern 2000-ish, early 2000 boombox, and tried putting a cassette tape in. A fucking cassette tape. I'm at the generation where I still know cassette tapes. Honestly, it would have been more hilarious if he actually bought a Bluetooth speaker to the dance-off and tried putting a tape in. But still, it works. But still it works. They even hammered down. They doubled down how much of a boomer he is. When Sumino even says, like, she never even saw a cassette tape in real life before. That's how old she is. I'm one of the generation who actually still knows what a cassette tape is. Like, damn, I still use cassette tapes until what? Junior high? Like, that made me old as fuck, man. Like, fuck. Like, Jesus. This man is hilarious. Like, most of the comedic aspect came from this man, mostly. Mostly. And then, last but not least, for the Gozyugers, for now, I'll get later, is Goju Unicorn. Ichikawa Sumino, played by Maya Imori. This girl wants the green. She wants the moolah. She wants the dough. She wants that money to support her family. She also wants revenge. Sweet, cold revenge. And find his sister and her kidnapper. Sumino was once a police officer because she as a kid, idolizes a police officer. Idolizes the police. And grew up into a police officer. While she was a rookie, when she's still a rookie out of the academy, her sister, Odo, went missing. And the police couldn't make any progress, so essentially the case went cold. This event messed with our girl pretty bad. Like, she became obsessed with her sister's case. And when she found out the supposed kidnapper at the time, like a possible suspect, like all the clues at the time led to him, she went, let's say, overboard. As a result, she was fired. And now works as a PI or a detective, or as she calls it, a high-class detective or PI. Under Universe Warrior Don Momotaro, who is the Prime Minister at the time. Name, if I remember, Tokunatsu. Yeah. During this time, she also found the Goju Unicorn Ring. But strangely, she couldn't transform into a Gozyuger at the start. But after reaffirming her resolve to help people with her powers, basically doing it for the right reasons, she's now able to transform into a Gozyuger. Though it still doesn't dissuade her from her main goal, which is finding her sister and her kidnapper. That she only has one clue to lean on. She has only one lead to go through. And that lead is Odo's kidnapper. Or someone connected with Odo's kidnapper is a known male. Is definitely male. And he has gray colored eyes. Remember that. Gray colored eyes. Yeah. So, right after that info dump to the team by Sumino, Rikuo met a fan outside the cafe who wanted to sign some old merch of him during his idol days, like super idol days, like early idol days. In that merch, and confirmed by Rikuo himself, that he was wearing gray colored contact lenses during that time. Now, it could very well be a misdirect. But, again, this is Inoue we're talking about. This is Inoue. I mean, it's her daughter, but still. This could be the making of some spicy conflict for the team. Like, remember the whole Inu brother, Kiji brother, and the girlfriend / wife conflict? Yeah. How chaotic that was. How crazy Kiji brother got. I'm expecting great things. Now, with all that said, what are my thoughts regarding the team and their dynamic? They are all very distinct and different individuals. And again, like with Dawn Brothers, these people shouldn't work well as a team. And honestly, at most of the time, they don't. And I like that. And with the added aspect that they are also competing with each other in collecting the rings, there are moments where each of them are trying to one-up each other. There are also times where they have to come together as a team to face a larger threat. And to a point, like up to this episode, to a point, they kind of do care about each other. Like they have certain fondness for each other. Like when Hoya quit the team, they were all pretty concerned, even though they don't openly show it. They even meant, like one of them even mentioned, "You're our pet. You're not our friend," but in a loving way, which is still wrong, but still, you get the point. So far, Ryugi, Kinjiro, and Sumino are so far my favorites of the whole bunch. And acting-wise, most of them are doing a pretty bang-up job. Besides, honestly, Hoyaru's actor. While it's not like Prince level bad, like from King Oger Prince, new Kyoru Red Prince bad, he's so far the weakest out of all of them acting quality wise. He does need a lot of work and it needs improvement, but I also have the confidence that I think he'll improve, because there are some scenes where his actor really shines. Like during when he's out of his funk, right after his brother shows up, when Fire Candle actually gets him out of that funk during a butler off, he actually showed some charisma, like legit. That's some highlight stuff. And when he's actually being sincere, like opening up to his brother and something like small moments of vulnerability, it shows with him. But mostly he feels like the abrasive part kind of grates me wrong. Like he's not doing a convincing job of telling people that he's an abrasive person. He's an unapproachable person. Now, with the start of episode 16, there's also the Sixth Ranger that just got revealed. Goju Polar, Kumade Mashiro, played by Kimura Kaiki. Now, the start of the second arc of this show, they called Round 2. It's like a fight round. So, Not much known about him yet, apart from a few things. He's the previous champion of the Battle of the Rings that took place during the Universe War. And he's also the previous Goju Wolf, which means that this is not the first Sentai Battle Ring that has happened. This has actually happened more than once, which is such a curveball. Like, I did not expect that. This man is a previous winner. He actually won the first battle. And he was also the previous Goju Wolf. Before Hoyoru. He's very flamboyant. He's very, well, he like throws money like up the wazoo. And pretty much thinks very highly of himself. Even calling himself a god. This man's got a fucking god complex. Like, straight up. Straight up. An extremely capable fighter who uses boxing as his style and theme. Like, this man's whole deal is boxing. And also that, this is kind of dickish way, but he kind of charges everyone that he saved for his services an exorbitant amount of money. Like, he charges what? Hoyoru for saving the convenience store, like 1 million yen. And his goal for now, is to replace Tegasword and become a new god. Now, I'm gonna start talk design wise. I like his design very much. With the mostly white and black with gold trim. So this is a white Sentai, a white 6th. We rarely have, because there's a lot of gold and silver. There's rarely other than that. His design kind of makes him, like, the body of his design, especially like in the waist section, kind of feels like he's wearing a gi, even though he's a boxer. But that's just me. And he also wears a robe, like a legit boxing robe, which he takes off when he needs to battle. Fucking seriously. He transforms using the good burn, or he calls it the good bad, which I'll get to him later. Which is in the shape of a fist instead of an open palm, like Tegasword, or a shooting hand for Tegajun. The good burn can also transform into a mech and personal weapon, and also has a personal weapon named the Byakuya Go, which also can attach to a good burn as his mount or ride, I think. Also, Byakuya is also kind of treated like a Roomba, because every time Hoyoru, like, Byakuya prints a receipt for every person he saves, but when they rip it off, Byakuya just like a Roomba sucks it up all. Now, good burn can also combine with Tegasword and Tegajun, combining into Tegasword white burn and Tegajun white burn respectively. Now, based on the image from the toys, I have not seen the combined form in show yet, because they haven't revealed it. Only behind the scenes images. Honestly, I feel like the combination is pretty lacking. The combo feels more like an attachment for the good burn rather than a new form. Like, the whole main thing of the body is just good burn with Tegajun or Tegasword attached as like a cannon or backpack. It feels like a less cool, top-heavy Kiba Dio, or for the Western audiences, Mega Tiger Zord for Power Rangers. But hey, that's just my opinion. But speaking of good burn himself, spoiler for episode 15 and 16, because all of this, like, all about Polar is just spoilers. Good burn, previously named Tega Naguru, basically Tega Knuckle, is Tegasword's and essentially Tegasword's and Tegajun's kid. which they just made recently. So the thing is about Goju Polar, why I put it such last and after the team dynamic, is a huge thing happened in episode 15, where essentially Tegajun wins. Tegajun wins, which I'll get to her character later. But essentially, Tegajun wins by marrying Tegasword forcibly, and creates a new entity. Like she legitimately birthed a new entity from that union, which he calls the Prince of Destruction, named Teganaguru. And that creation essentially resets the world. Now, this is not confirmed by the creators or not, or by the show or not, but I think I have a feeling that this isn't the first time it's happened, because I think every time a leader it's basically like a Geats situation. So they legit pull the Geats. Whoever wins, and because Terajun wins, the world got reset into their image, into their ideal world where they can get their wish granted. Okay? So by that, the world already resetted once before when Mashiro Kumade went the first Universe War. But the reason why he just pops up now is still unknown. Now, the thing is, there's a genius marketing happening when they entered round 2. So I'm gonna put the images here. This right here is the image of the promo image for Gozyuger, round 1. This is the image round 2. They seem familiar, right? Just with one edit. Polar feels like he's the main character. And they made Goju Wolf feel like the 6th. The rest of the team are in the same places and same poses. It's just Goju Polar is now in Goju Wolf's pose, just with a raised fist instead of just number one-ing it up. And Goju Wolf is in the background. And Tegasaur is replaced by Goodburn. Now, essentially, like, so the technicality is, the technical term that the Toei team is trying to convey is that this is not the 6th Ranger technically. This is number 0, not number 1. He's number, like, the number 0 Sentai of the Gozyuger. He's preceding the Gozyuger, but now, because of his new power, he's now the 6th. He's actually the number 1 or number 0, which is kind of fucky. Actually, my analogy might definitely not work. But yeah, so essentially, this new poster and this new universe basically is designed so that Kumade Mashiro is the main character. He's now the MC. He's now the MC because he wins. He's basically like Ace when he wins a DGP round, a DGP contest. He is the main character. I am the MC now. He basically took that spot from Hoiru and the other Gozyugers. Like, this new world, like, at the beginning, everyone forgot who they were. Hoiru is back working in the beginning of the episode 1 as a, like, convenience store clerk. But the others, like, legit changed. So we know is now like an organic, wholesome, poor girl. Ryugi is now dating Hoiru's landlord, and the kid is no longer in sight. So, yeah, the kid might just be poofed out existence. Kinjiro is now senile and with a caretaker, and Ryugi and Rikuo is failing his 9th entrance exam to college, I think, or job applications. I think college, yeah, college entrance exam. Has the shittiest luck and is never even an idol. I think, yeah. Mm-hmm. Don't know how Bouquet is gonna feel about that. Even though, well, in the end they got back into their previous selves. Now, I'm still on the fence. Either they got back into their previous self because when the first scene, after the first scene, Hoiru met Mashiro, he essentially resets his memory back, like gave him all of the previous world's knowledge back, like when a DGP participant touches an ID core, like that. I don't know if Kumade did that with the other Gozyugers, but it seems that, or there's 2 of them, this world and the previous world, because they just switch immediately. The other scene, they just switch, like, we're back, okay, let's do this. Now, there's some few supporting characters, like I said, with Ichima Saori, played by Nakagoshi Noriko, who is, again, she is Time Red's wife in real life. She's the caretaker and the landlady of the house, of the place that Horu's staying, and she was also the owner of the Half Century Cafe. She still kind of works there or goes into the Half Century Cafe from time to time with his kid. Yeah. There's not a lot of supporting aside from the recurring, like sometimes recurring Universe Warriors. Yeah. But next we have our villains. The No.1 World Raiden. First off, we got Fire Candle, played by Sanbogi Daisuke. He's the self-proclaimed rival of Goju Wolf, and their rivalry and relationship is very fun to watch. They actually share a brain cell at a few times. Like the last episode of round 1, they legit share a brain cell. He wants the thrill of a battle. He wants to beat Goju Wolf on equal terms. He's pretty honorable. Like so much that when Hoiru was out of it, like he was on a berserk state and was not doing it with a full resolve due to Goju Killer, which I'll get to, gaslighting his ass, Candle actually backed off. He almost win, but he backed off, saying it's not worth it to fight you in this. When I want to beat you at your peak, okay? Even though he always loses when he's at his peak. But still, yeah. He then unknowingly breaks Hoiru out of his funk, engaging him in a butler competition, and even opening up a bit, slightly, about his life. And he's actually not a dick. He's actually quite loved by his subordinates. Like, he remembers all of his subordinate names, and I think their birthday too, and is pretty much buddies with them. And when they die, he actually mourns them. He has a personal mech called the King Candler or Calendar, which looks so cool. Like, dear Lord, look at that. I like its design very much. Like, and I don't know if it's intentional or not, but it's giving me a Ray Earth vibe from Magic Knight Ray Earth. And then there's Bouquet, played by Marupi. I think that's the actor's stage name. Which you also may recognize that as Dahlia from the Cure Major Yodona final special. Yeah. She's one of the generals and the technical captain known as the Bouquet of Compassion. She's super cute. Like, that's her design. She's pretty cute, pretty humble, pretty polite, and quite sensitive to a sense. She immediately falls hard for Rico when he did a show for a popularity contest against Universe Warrior Don Momotaro in episode 3. Immediately buying all of his merch and even setting up a shrine in their base and in her cockpit named the Calendeus, which also looks pretty cool. It has like a gun karambit. The thing is, again, she doesn't know that Rico and Goju Leon are the same person. So when they're having their first mech battle, Goju Leon damages Calendeus' cockpit and broke all of her merch. Yeah. She took that personally. And went batshit insane. Like, her hatred for Goju Leon is so deep. Whenever she meets Goju Leon, not Rico, Goju Leon, it was on sight. But in opposite, her love for Rico grows every day. Like, there is an episode where Rico and No.1, which this is the Monster of the Week names, No.1, had to compete in a flirt-off with Sumino as the target, while Bouquet and Mr. Shining Knife and Mrs. Sweetcake are the judge. And that episode was everything. She, and that episode, was the moment. Her face, you can see from the actress face from Bouquet, screams, "It should have been me, not Sumi, no. No." In every segment of the contest. It also doesn't help that Goju Killer knows that Rico is Goju Leon and is scheming something for those two. And then there's Mr. Shining Knife and Mrs. Sweetcake, voiced by Tomokazu Sugita, who you may know as the voice of Oradin, Hivat, and most notably, the greatest JoJo voice of all time, Yosefu Dostar, in part 2. And Rina Ueda, who voices Mallow in Pokemon Sun and Moon, and Shinjo Akane from SSSS Greedman, respectively. They are the executive and chief of staff of the Brydens. They're married. They're a couple. They're married. And when their emotions for each other gets like to a certain peak, they were once separate, but now they're fused because they love each other so much, so they kind of, yeah. So when their love reaches their peak, they can become a kaiju size, a giant size. So they are the only ones who doesn't need a mech. I can't say much about these two because mostly they're just there for mech fights and for comedic reasoning. But yeah, also another thing like I like about the Brydens is they brought back human generals. Yeah, we haven't had human generals in quite a while. And I love it when they have it. Finally, there's Kuon, or as he's named, Ring Hunter Garyudo. But honestly, I'll refer to him always as Goju Killer. Because let's face it, he really is. Yeah. Played by Karuma. This motherfucker is a grade A bastard. So, formerly known as Hisamitsu Tono, he is Haru's older brother. As a kid, he is shown to be pretty good at everything. He can ace everything that he can master, making his brother, Hoiru, look up to him very much. However, 10 years before the start of the story, he and Hoiru, like I said, arrive at the Briden's homeworld, and they got separated and lost and got stuck there for quite a while. Hisamitsu ends up getting affiliated with the Bridens, becoming Goju Killer under Queen Tegajun to hunt down other Universe Warrior and collect their rings. Hisamitsu also witnessed his parents moving on from them after adopting 2 sons. This kind of results in him forsaking the name Hisamitsu and renaming himself as Kwon. He also ended up founding and becoming the CEO of Kwon AI Kozen, or Konzen, now leading AI tech company. So, the older brother, Hoiru, known as Hisamitsu, is now gone, essentially. Yeah. Transform into a ruthless, manipulative person. This man is a narcissistic, megalomaniacal, and an overall grade A bastard and hater. He's shown not to tolerate failure of any kind, and is often mocked people who constantly fail, as shown by him supposedly killing and terminating a failed employee who didn't met his quota, and his constant belittling of Fire Candle due to the latter always failing at beating Hoiru. And he views Hoiru now as Kuon more like a puppet, despite a sense of twisted love for him. And the Summon Universe Warriors as his servant. In Hoiru's case, Kuon even openly admitted that he's the only one truly worthy to shape his life, including selecting his friends, where he eats, how he has to live, even who he has to fight. So he's basically like his pet, his master. After, he got beaten by Hoiru for the first time, his level of cuckoo-ness grows. He's now even trying to stir some shit between Bouquet and Riguo. Also, after the first loss with Hoiru, it's also revealed that he's got a massive, cross-shaped scar on his back that is pulsating and growing. There's a void cross-shaped scar on his back. Now, as Goju Killer, I'm not going to say Garyudo, his whole motive is gun. And suit-wise, I actually like the design quite a lot. It has elements of the Gozyuger suit, most notably the helmet, but it's got a cracked visor, and it has a gun motive instead of an animal. And the suit is more armored, and it has a tattered cape. He transformed using the Tegajun. He transformed by clapping and then cocking the gun parts. Yeah, it tuck and then crack. And the way he uses the Sentai rings is pretty different from Gozyugers. So the Gozyugers transform into the Ranger forms, but only the reds. Now, Goju Killer summons the Sentai instead of transforming. Like, for example, Bosco or Dien. He has Bosco or Dien's ability. But there's another twist on his ability. He can recall the summons and turn them into weapons that he can now use. So, for example, if he summons Shinken Red, he can recall Shinken Red back, but transform Shinken Red into the Rekka Daizanto, the big giant sword Shinken Red has, to fight. It's like that. also at the end has a mech to help him fight, which is the Queen Tegajun, who is the Brighton's leader. This lady is cray cray. It is legit cray cray. She wants to collect all the Sentai rings, and she also wants to marry someone so that she can cause the end of the world, which she did at the end, kinda. She's shown to be mostly apathetic to most people, and with the sole exception of Kuon, she who regards him as kind of a trump card. Like he's her secret weapon in collecting the Sentai rings, and she does not want anyone questioning her authority. It's shown when she sends a large shockwave towards Bouquet when she kind of objects in using Universe Warrior Tyranno Ranger, enslaving him and using him to pilot a black version of Daijujin, which is cool as fuck. Episode 15. This is where the shit actually hits the fan. So Tegajun finally comes into play in a big way. So she essentially wins. Like I said, she won. She marries Tegasword. She forcibly marries Tegasword, and let's face it, kinda assault him. So in the end, she conceives a child. Good burn Teganaguru is from that conception. So essentially, she essentially assaulted Tegasword. Yeah. She cray cray. She bridezilla cray cray. And this new arc is basically, so Hoiru is the only one so far that can talk to Tegasword in like small form. Now, the beginning of this new arc is basically Hoiru, Tono Hoiru, I Tegasword need your help in getting a divorce. I did not consent to any of this. Tegasword did not consent to this marriage. Yeah. This is the divorce arc. Gab was having its divorce arc. Now Gozyuger is having its divorce arc. Like literal divorce. So yeah, that's so far regarding Gozyuger. That's the most I've watched so far. And it's pretty up to date. Now, this season 2 is a total game changer, and I can't wait how all of this is gonna unravel. Is it going to be like a Geats type situation where they're going to be resetting every few times, or is this round 2 going to be in just this new world, and then round 3 will going to be changing into a new world, or is it going to be a constant change every time, or is it going to be a one-time thing? I'm very interested. This show has been quite a wild ride, and I am here for it. I'm excited to see what Akiko Inoue has in store for us. Yeah, and with Gov, Kamen Rider Gov is going pretty great. Really great, actually. And it's going to be ending soon. Like, it's on its late 30s. We got final form already, which I'll talk to when I get to review. Yeah. Superhero Time is back being its full cylinder self. Like, it's running on all cylinders. Rider is great. Sentai is great. And with a new Ultra coming in, Ultraman Omega. Yeah, Omega? Yeah. It's going to be amazing. Like, we're in for a great time. Guess that's it for my thoughts so far on Gozyuger. Again, I'd like to say sorry for a video taking it this long. A lot of shit is happening, and I haven't found the time to do it. I actually did it like a few times, but the script wasn't all that finished. I had to rewrote some of things. My train of thought, yeah, and then a lot of work stuff and live stuff comes in, and I try to do this as often as possible, but yeah, currently it's not in the cards currently. But I am trying to do everything I can to keep this going on, even though it's not a lot of views. I know it's not a lot of views, but I still do it because I like it. So yeah, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next video. Follow me on all things. Please do like, comment, and subscribe. Every little bit helps, like seriously. Again, thank you. Stay tuned. See you next time. I'm Perdere Asterisk, and I am signing off. Bye.